Hi guys, in this episode of Shri series, we're going to be talking about different types of potential energy questions that students might come across. Now, if you looked at my previous video, we looked at a potential energy question where we just had to calculate the potential energy from the given criteria. So just a bit of a recap. If you remember what's potential energy, we know very well that potential energy is energy that is stored. All right. So the formula for potential energy is mgh. And like I said before, m is your mass, g is your acceleration due to gravity, which is 9.8 meters per second squared, and h is your height. All right. So the first thing I do when I see a question involving word problems, the fundamental thing is to find out what information have we been given. All right, so I'm going to read the first question. It takes 2,000 joules to drop a 5 kilogram ball from a building to the ground. Calculate the height of the building. So what information have we been given? We've been given the energy, 2,000 joules. We've been given the mass, which is 5 kilograms. And we know, because we're dropping a ball from the top of a building, there's acceleration due to gravity. So even if the question doesn't state it, we know that acceleration due to gravity needs to be included in our calculation, which is 9.8 meters per second squared. All right, so this is what I do here. I write down what information is being given, in a vertical manner, and then work out the solutions. All right, so I've got my potential energy, which is 2,000 joules. I've identified my mass as 5 kilograms. And I know my g, which is 9.8 meters per second squared. And the question is calculate my height, all right? So that's how I outline the information there. And if you look at the formula for potential energy, I'll use green here. Potential energy is mgh. We need to work out what's my height, so we can manipulate this, make h the subject of the formula using algebraic manipulation. So what I can do is I can divide this by mg, divide that by mg, because whatever you do on your left hand side, you do it on your right hand side. So therefore what happens is your height is going to be potential energy over m times g. All right, and what is my potential energy? 2,000 divided by mass, which is 5 kilograms, times 9.8. And then what we do is get our calculator to work this out. So that's 2,000 divided by 5 times 9.8. And you're going to get 40.81 meters. So you could round that off to say 41 meters, and that's your height. All right, so first thing you do is identify what information is given in this area, write down the formula, manipulate it to make h the subject of the formula, which is height, and then substitute and work it out. So you can see you're writing your formula, you're showing your working. So that's how you solve potential energy questions where you're told to calculate your height. All right, let's move on to another question. Okay. Let's look at this question here. It takes 2,500 joules for an object to fall from a height of 10 meters to the ground. Calculate the mass of the object. So what information do we have there? 2,500 joules. We've got a height of 10 meters. We need to work out the mass. We know very well that because this object's being dropped from the top of a building to the ground, g is 9.8 meters per second squared. So let's write down what information do we have. Potential energy is 2,500 joules. What's my height? My height is 10 meters. What's my g? 9.8 meters per second squared. What's my m? That's what we need to find out. Okay, and if we look at the formula, potential energy is mass times acceleration due to gravity times height. We need to get my mass. So what do? Divide by g and h. Whatever you do on your left hand side, you do it exactly on your right hand side. So therefore m will be equal to potential energy over acceleration due to gravity times my height. What's my potential energy? My potential energy here is 2,500 joules divided by 9.8. And what's my height? 10 meters. And then you get your calculator to work out the solution. 2,500 divided by 9.8 times 10. And your mass now becomes 25.551 kilograms. And that's how you calculate your mass. So 3 things you need to remember when you're solving basic questions involving potential energy. Write down what information is being given, write down the potential energy formula, and if required, make some algebraic manipulations or changing the subject of the formula to get your M. So in this case, you needed to get mass and then substitute to get to the right answer. All right, so that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching my video. We'll be putting more videos, and please subscribe to Shri series. Thanks, guys. Bye now.